The spelling and the word recognition assessments are always given together. The combined score of the two is used to prescribe what the student receives in the software. These assessments are automatically administered to the students at the beginning of the software and at the end of every second chapter. The only exception is for the kindergarten track, in which the students get these assessments only once at the end of the track. For tracks 1 through 3, the software alternates between List 1 and List 2. There are 35 words per list, and the lists are always administered in the same order, 1 through 35. The words from List 1 are closely correlated with the words from List 2 to ensure they contain the same skill features. The test is administered and functions as follows. The students are made aware that they are going to take a spelling test, that they will use their keyboard to spell each word, and that they can correct the spelling of each word before it is submitted. The students press the arrow button to begin the test. The narrator reads the word, uses it in a context sentence, and repeats the word again. Using the keyboard, the students spell the word. If mistakes are made, they can be corrected prior to submittal. The students submit the word by pressing the arrow button. When the students submit a word, the software awards points based on the following. Whole word features. For example, the word is treated. If the student spells treat correct, then they receive points for a whole word. Skill features. For example, the word is check. The software is looking for the digraph CH as well as the correct ending CK. Points are received for each of these features. The student is then given the next word in the list. The assessment is terminated when a student does not score any points for 3 words in a row. When the assessment is over, the student will see the spelling list with each word spelled correctly. Each word that was spelled correctly will have a green check mark next to it, and each word that was spelled incorrectly will have a red X next to it. The students will press the arrow button to move on to the next assessment, word recognition. The same list that was used for the spelling assessment will be used in the word recognition assessment. The test is administered and functions as follows. The students are made aware that there will be 3 options shown on the screen. The narrator will say one of those words, and the students must then identify the correct word before the 6-second timer expires. The students press the arrow button to begin. The students are given each word from the list one at a time. Because this is a rapid recognition test, the first word the students click on is submitted as the answer. There is no submit button on this test. If the 6-second timer runs out, that word is counted as being wrong, and the students must press the arrow button for the next word. If the students miss 3 in a row, the test will be terminated. At the end of the test, the student will be shown the list of words. Those that were correctly identified will have a green check mark next to them. Those that were not will have a red X. To access the Spelling and Word Recognition Summary Report, click on the Assessment section in the Student Summary Report. Then, click on the Spelling and Word Recognition tab. The report shows the results for the spelling word recognition assessments completed by the student. The columns for this report are as follows, from left to right. Lesson title shows the title of the assessment. Score, percentage correct. Overall, the composite score for the spelling and word recognition assessments. Spelling shows the points earned in the spelling portion of the assessment. Word recognition shows the points earned in the word recognition portion of the assessment. Skills passed. Number of skills for which the student demonstrated mastery within the assessment, which means 67% or higher in the composite skill score. Time shows total time spent in the assessment. Date shows the date the assessment was completed. The footer shows the student's best score compared with the group average best score. Double-click one of the tests to see the results in greater detail. This report shows how the student performed on each word of the assessment. For example, the sixth word on the list is kind. The correct spelling of the word is shown, as is the way the student spelled the word. The report shows that the student got 67% correct for this word, 4 of 6 points, 2 of 4 for spelling, and 2 of 2 for word recognition. The report also shows the skill elements being assessed for each word. For the word kind, the software is looking for IND at the end and K at the beginning. This student received 2 points for having the K at the beginning of the word. The current view is focusing on words, but it can be changed to focus on skills. Press the Skills button to change the view. In this view, each of the skills being assessed is listed. The report shows the skill lesson number, the skill lesson title, and the status for each skill. Skills for which the student identified 67% or more of the expected elements have a green status. This indicates that the student has demonstrated enough knowledge of the skill to skip the instruction portion of the lesson. The student will be given the activities portion of the lesson first. If the student fails the activities, then the instruction portion of the lesson will be given, followed by the activities, a second time. Adjusting the lesson flow in this manner can significantly reduce the time required to complete the software. The yellow status indicates that the student has demonstrated some knowledge of the skill, but not enough to skip the instruction. The red status indicates that the student has demonstrated little to no knowledge of the skill. This does not necessarily indicate failure on the student's part, but is rather intended to highlight to the instructor potential areas of focus. A gray status indicates that not all elements for that skill were given in the assessment, and therefore a green, yellow, or red status cannot be assigned.